It's now live, Leader.
Hello and welcome to this meeting of the Cabinet of Portsmouth City Council. I'm Councillor Gerald Verne-Jackson, Leader of the Council, and I'm going to be chairing this meeting. Members of the public are invited to view this meeting, and there's been opportunity for people to put in written representations. We're meeting today virtually in response to the limitations placed on governments by the COVID-19 pandemic. For the purposes of this meeting, the City Solicitor has advised that pursuant to Section 78 of the Coronavirus Act 2020, this meeting will be run by reference to the Model Standing Orders as set out in the Local Authorities Coronavirus Flexibility of Local Authorities Meetings Regulation 2020, number 392. Members, please keep your cameras on throughout the meeting and only turn your microphones on when you wish to speak. I'll ask colleagues to introduce themselves in a minute. Councillor Ashmore, if you could turn your video back on if that's going to be okay, but I know you sometimes have problems with bandwidth.
It is on. I'll just cover it up.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, colleagues, let's just go through and let's see who is here. Councillor Steve Pitt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, Councillor Steve Pitt, Deputy Leader of the City Council and Cabinet Member for Culture, Leisure and Economic Development.
Councillor Susie Horton.
Susie Horton, Cabinet Member for Children, Families and Education.
Mr Ashmore.
Dave Ashmore, Cabinet Member for Environment and Climate Change.
Matthew.
I'm Matthew Whittington, the Cabinet Member for Health, Wellbeing and Social Care.
Hugh Mason.
I'm Councillor Hugh Mason. I'm the Cabinet Member for Planning Policy.
Chris Atwell.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Atwell, Cabinet Member for Communities and Central Services.
And we're also joined by several officers. So David Williams. David, do you want to introduce yourself?
David Williams, Chief Executive.
Christopher.
Chris Ward, Director of Finance, but attending today in my capacity as Director of Victory Energy Supply Limited.
And Julian Pike.
Julian Pike, Deputy Director of Finance.
Okay, and Anna Martin.
Yeah. Anna Martin, Local Democracy Officer.
Lovely. Okay, colleagues, thank you very much indeed. Anna, have you had any notifications of any apologies for absence?
Councillor Darren Sanders.
Okay. Colleagues, any declarations of interest that people need to declare? No. Okay. Before we go on to the agenda item number 3, I think it's just sensible to say that colleagues will know that Portsmouth, Gosport and Havant have been moved up into Tier 3 by the government, along with quite a lot of other areas in the south of England. And that's the government's decision. We weren't given any prior notice of it, but that's the government's prerogative. My understanding is that our numbers have been rising since the national lockdown finished, but also that there are problems at QA Hospital. And that's been part of the decision. I think it's slightly bizarre that if we're needing to protect QA Hospital, some areas less than 2 miles from QA Hospital remain in Tier 2, while Havant, Gosport and Portsmouth are in Tier 3. It seems to me bizarre that areas like Portchester and Southwark, which are within 1 or 2 miles, are in Tier 2, but it's another bizarre government decision, but I think we're all used to bizarre government decisions over this pandemic. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, item 3 on the agenda is about Victory Energy and letters that have been written and from the directors and reply. Chris Ward, would you like to add anything that is not here in the report?
Nothing to add, Leader, at all. As you're right, it's just the opportunity to view the letters that have been exchanged between the directors of Victory Energy and the shareholder. Thank you.
Okay, colleagues, we this is really for us to see these letters and to look at the recommendation really to us is just to note this. But this is the final piece of winding up Victory Energy, and I think this is high time this happened. So my thanks to everybody involved in trying to make sure that we brought this to a conclusion. I think we all know that the two other councils that went into this field of doing energy supply companies, Nottingham and Bristol, have both had a very difficult time, and both of them have left their council taxpayers having to pick up the bill for between 30 and 60 million pounds of debt on either side. So I think this has been the right decision to make sure that we didn't start this company going live, and we've wound it up to make sure that we protect local taxpayers from having to pick up these big debts that would almost certainly have flown from this company. Colleagues, is anybody else want to add anything to that? No. Okay. In which case, Chris, thank you very much indeed. I think the exchange of letters is noted, and that's the action that will then follow. Okay, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you for your time. And this is the last Cabinet meeting of the year. Can I record my best wishes to everybody for Christmas and the New Year, and my thanks to everybody, both the Cabinet and Council officers, who are working so hard at the City Council to protect the people of this city in the pandemic. People have worked wonderfully hard, and I'm incredibly grateful to everybody for everything that they've done. So thank you very much indeed. Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, even if we're in Tier 3.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gerald. Same sentiment from me as well.
I'll ask Peter to close the live stream now then, if you've finished.
Yeah, we have.